First thing I noticed from looking at your especially your Marth game is that it doesn't really feel like you're comfortable moving around the stage, like both like on the ground and also on the platforms. Like there's a lot of times where you kind of just sit and shield and don't really do anything, or like take a lot of time to decide what you want to shield. And there are a lot of instances where you just kind of like sit on the platforms and don't really move too quickly. Oh, what's up, weird doofer? How you doing? I also noticed that much like I'm sure you saw it like before from my analysis I did on the other guy, like the last guy, is that that your risk reward is a little bit off. Like you're going for some F tilts especially that aren't really going to lead to anything. Like some F tilts below like I don't know, like 30 or so that aren't going to like lead to really anything. So they end up being like bad decisions. Like F tilts and like other like kind of tilts before knockdown percent can be good. Like when you're catching Marth in the air. But if you're not, then they're really low reward and just not really good options. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while, but I'm glad to be back streaming. Okay, but anyways, let's get into the actual analysis since you don't have too long. So right here, when you see Marth like about to land, like if you're right here and you see Marth about to land, what you should be doing is trying to get under him. So you want to get under him. You want to get under him so that you're right about right here. Because if you're right here while Marth is coming down, then you're going to be in a really good position. You're in a position to catch his fare as he's coming down. But if you're spaced like this, you'll catch a weak fare, and then you'll be able to punish him. So when Marth is in the air, you want to kind of generally aim for this spacing, try and reach this spacing before he lands, because then you can punish him for throwing out a fare, which is a general option that Marth will choose to do in the situation. See, like Marth is the fare there. So if you had shielded that, then you could have either just nared or grabbed it if you caught the weak hit, and you could have just shielded it and wave dashed as shield, or like trap as shield and pressured Marth if you catch a strong hit. And again, the same kind of thing happens where Marth is in the air and you get under him, you put yourself in a good position, but you don't quite do the best option. You just like dash straight into him and get hit for it. Whereas if you had like dashed into like if you had crouched, like ASTI down while you were dashing, or if you had shielded, then you could have punished Marth for doing that fare that he did here. You could have punished Marth for doing this fare. If you shield right now, if you're shielding right here, then you can just nair him or grab him for free every time. Once then you get hit. Then you down smash out of stun, which again isn't really that. The down smash is really bad when Marth is below knockdown percent, and when any character is below knockdown percent really, because it can be punished on hit. So you pretty much never want to do a down smash when Marth is below the knockdown percent. So, but when he's below like 26, 27, you don't really want to down smash him at all. Actually, 26, 27 isn't the exact number, but somewhere in that ballpark, like mid-20s, you don't want to down smash him. Let's look. So you could have. So let's look at it. So we are out of leg right about here. You could have grabbed Marth. You could have gone up and He could have gone up and shield, like he could have grabbed Marth and just jump cancel, grabbed him. You could run forward and shield stop again at the same range, while you just shield stop right here. You could have dashed back to avoid the possible aerial, and then like dash back, check his react, like dash back, react to whatever Marth is doing, and then if he throws out an aerial, you can dash forward and grab him for it. Because Marth tries to do a second aerial, so if you had dashed back there, dash back right here, then you could have reacted to his drift, followed him, like get a bit forward, and reacted to the drift and whip punished him. Well, instead you down smashed, and he lost any advantage you had. You could also, you might be able to F-tilt here, which would be decent because it would catch him out of the air. So then put him in another landing situation where he'd have to land onto you and put himself at risk. You could have I don't think you'd nared here. We could also have you could have dashed forward and just crouched right here where he fared. You could also dash forward. So you could dash forward, shield stop right here. Catch him hitting you with a weak fair on shield. Like catch him weak fairing your shield with a narrow grab. You could have dashed back, check what he's doing, see that he's throwing out a fair that's not gonna do anything, and then we punished him for it. You might like full hopping might be worth it as a mix up here, because that way you're able to set up a needle angle on him. So you get fared for it. So eventually you grab his shield pressure because it's fake. But so right here, this is a big point, huge important thing. You should be getting a lot more off this grab. You should be re-grabbing off this grab, because if Marth DI's away after you down throw him, you can chain grab his DI. You can chain grab him. Like if he DI's away, you can grab him. So you just after this grab, you just grab him again, and then you down throw again. So it's just like grab, pummel before the down throw, because if you buffer down throw down on the C stick, then you get a free pummel. Like if you hold the C stick down while pummeling, then you get the Marth can't escape. So you pummel, grab, down throw, dash forward, re-grab him, pummel, down throw, and just keep doing that. And then on no DI or slight DI, like if no DI, you'd up tilt. I don't like no DI behind you, up tilt, and then you start up airing at like 20. And then eventually, once you get to kill percent, you can up smash, jump cancel up smash on DI behind a no DI and fair on DI away. But you should be re-grabbing this every time. F-tilt's starting to get a little bit more rewarding, so I'm more or less fine with it. I'd like to see you try to use your grounded movement more and your full hop less. I'd like to see you use, I'd like to see you use your grounded movement more and your full hop less. Like when you're in general, I want to see you approaching neutral more, like using your dash dance and using your movement. Like doing a lot of like dash to away, dash back, or like dash to shield stop. Because in this matchup, it's really important, especially it's really important to be mindful of your jumps. Because if you do... So if you do a jump like this, imagine that Marth is standing on don't tilt leg. So if he dashes forward, he can cover about... So he dashes forward, and if he short hops rising aerials, he covers about this range, and you're jumping directly into that range. So generally, when you're jumping at Marth, you'll be jumping either from far away like far enough away that he's not going to be able to punish you with a rising aerial, or you want to be jumping so close to him that you can just stuff his jump with your aerial. Okay, the downer was pretty not very good, because it just wasn't guaranteed at all. Up air, up air, the weak up air. I think that was weak up air. Isn't going to lead into downer in any situation at this percent. And like here's an example of you kind of like not really using your movement enough. Like you're just sitting in shield. When if you had when you were actionable to do anything, like you could have dashed back here, and that would have been pretty good. You could have dashed forward. You could even F tilt, but like shield is fine. But I want to see you doing more trying to mix it up in situations like this, and try and use your movement more. If he has to walk forward, up tilt. Okay, I'm fine with all of that. Here you're kind of just like, it feels like you're not really aware of like what spacing to respect here, off of like when Marth is on the ledge, because like you have to like try and visualize the area that he covers with his ledge dash, and with his furthest reaching option, like his furthest reaching reasonable option. So for Marth, that'd be ledge dash down tilt, which reaches right about here, and you were positioned right exactly at that range. In general, things you can do against Marth on the ledge are like pressure, like read his, like trying to interrupt him when he's vulnerable. It's like like all of this stuff, like all right here, he's vulnerable. He can be hit. So one thing you can do is like dash forward, run cancel down smash, or dash forward, run cancel down tilt. That's something you'll see a lot of Sheiks do. You'll see them, like, a lot of top Sheiks will dash forward, run cancel, down smash to hit Marth out of his ledge dash. Because Marth's ledge dash is pretty hard to do, like, invincibly. So it can be safe to just sometimes execution test the Marth and see if they can actually get off the ledge. But otherwise, you generally want to be doing some dash dancing to react to whatever he does. It's like a dash dance, like right here, and then if you see him ledge dashing forward, they can dash back and try and whiff punish whatever ledge dash option he does. You can also charge needles. Should I have stayed out of range and then dash into down smash, or be closer to the ledge and CC down smash? That's a good question. Both work. Generally, if you're trying to stay out of range, it's better to just straight up whiff punish the Marth. So it's better to just like kind of dash dance and dash dance grab his down tilt. Or sometimes Marth will do it an up tilt. And then then the other option is to be closer to the ledge and like just down smash, or like run up. Like you can also like just run up, run cancel down smash. So it kind of depends. There's also the option of like just dashing forward into the space and shield stopping, because that allows you to like in the spacing. Because like if you dash forward into shield stop right here, then you catch the weak hit of down tilt on your shield and you can punish it. You can just grab it. And then the counterplay that Marths have to Sheik just kind of running up and down smashing when they're on the ledge is either doing, like, if they have the perfect ledge dash, they can do it. But if not, then they'll just, like, do some ledge hop aerials, like ledge hop with fair and nair. Which is then beat by you just dash dancing right outside their range. So it's kind of just a mix-up tree. Just try out a bunch of stuff, like try out the run up down smash, try out dash dancing outside of ledge dash range. Try out just running in with a shield stop. Try just staying back and charging needles. Just like try and experiment with all that kind of stuff. Okay, that was a good whip punish. So there you tried to crouch cancel, right? But you were just at too high a percent, so that's another important thing. Just remembering your percents. And this is a perfect example of the situation I was talking about. Where you have to be really careful of jumping at Marth, because if he dashes forward here, if he dashes forwards, he can set up a rising short hop fair, like a short hop fair that covers about this space, like a short hop fair nair that covers this space, and you fell directly on top of that space, and he also messed up your fair a little bit. Like this sort of aerial approach is can be okay if you time your fair a little bit earlier. Actually, no. It looks like you just had cleanly outspaced you. Yeah, you just cleanly outspaced you here. Like you just straight up beat your fair. There wasn't really anything I could do to trade here. This is another thing that struck me. Is that like in a situation like this, it seems like you're kind of uncomfortable moving around on the platforms. Like it seems like you're pretty uncomfortable moving around on the platforms. Because like I'd rather see you using your wavelands to move around the platforms here. Like just full hop. And just like full hop, like either full hop directly at the platform or like full hop waveland. Yeah, movement is really important. Movement is really important with any character. So I feel like the main things that I would recommend just off the bat would be to really work on your grounded movement, work on your dash dance, like work on using your dash to wave dash, your dash to crouch, and your foxtrot as all part of your dash dance. And then also work on using your platform movement, like work on really fast like shield drops, or work on really fast wavelands around the platforms. I think that'll really help you out a lot. Because once you because like a really common problem that Sheiks of your level have is they'll do kind of too many moves. Like they'll do a lot of moves without really using any movement. And you kind of have that with especially with full hop aerials. A lot of the time you'll use your full hop aerials to solve a situation. When grounded movement would work just fine instead. Because if you look at this situation, you're actually in range to threaten boost grab. So you could be dash dancing around right here at the spacing around Marth's F smash, and just kind of approach with dash forward and the shield stop, dash forward and the wave dash back, dash forward and the crouch. I guess not crouch because you're at too high a percent, but dash forward and the shield stop, dash forward and the wave dash back, dash forward and the wave dash down. Or instead, you also got the hit with the full hop, but I think using your grounded movement in a situation like that would be more consistent. And here's another example of your grounded movement not really being kind of clunky. You drop shield again, drop shield again, shield, take a really long time to wave dash forward. So also work on your out of shield game. I'm just gonna make it. Oh god. So I looked at your notes as well, and I think one thing that'll help you improve a lot is really trying to ask why, asking why interactions happen, and why you did things, because that's one thing. One thing I'm seeing a little bit in these notes, but I think you should be doing a little bit trying to do more detailed notes. Trying to do really look at the interaction to interaction, not look at all the interactions that you can. But I'm gonna start a little notepad for stuff to improve. So we got work on platform movement. Try to move around with wavelands instead of full hops. Work on grabbing movement. Incorporate dash to wave dash. Practice punish game on Marth. DI away should mean then I'm also gonna post a Drug Fox article that he wrote about punish game on Marth, which is really helpful. It outlines all the punish trees I talked about. And also think about risk. Limit or cut out entirely tilts limit attacks. Tilts, D-smash, dash attack. Okay. So I'm gonna post the snippet as I add on to it, in the match critique channel. Did I add on We're Coming Out of Shield game? Try to be fluid in and out of shield. There were a few times where it seemed like you got stuck in shield and didn't know what to do. And that's a really good thing to analyze. Think about this exact situation. Like when you're doing analysis, think about this situation. And think about all the possible plays and counterplays that can happen in this situation. Think about, okay, what happens if I wave dash forward? Well, if I wave dash forward, I move into Marth's down tilt range. So maybe that's a risky move. And I should be thinking about that as a risky move. What happens if I full hop? What happens if I full hop to the platform? Well, then Marth can actually threaten me right here because he has to dash forward to right here to actually hit me out of the air. So maybe that seems like a good option. And maybe wave dash down, think about wave dash down, think about wave dash back, think about short hop, think about roll, think about spot dodge, think about all the possible things you can do in this situation, and really kind of try and brainstorm, and really try and mentally lab it out. And that'll help a lot. If you ever have a situation that you feel uncomfortable in, you can, especially if it's something that involves the other player doing something, if it's something like Fox naring at you and then shining, so it makes it hard for you to whiff punish. Then try and practice it in 20xx. And but if it's kind of a general neutral situation, then really try and think about it and deconstruct it and think about all the parts, all the interactions that can happen, and all the interactions that can happen on both sides, all the decisions. So you do end up wave dashing forward when you see the coast is clear. And Marth is just reading you staying in shield at this point, because he's trying to bait out some sort of wave dash forward actually, with that short hop. But you chose a good time to short. You chose a good time to dash forward when Marth was about to land. Okay, got the edge guard. Let's go. Again, stuck in shield. You end up rolling out when you could have just wave dashed out. Like, you could have just wave dashed for free here, or even gone to the platform. Work on your ledge dashes. Again, like, it seems like you're uncomfortable just in your shield on the platform. Like, this is a free shield drop punish. This is totally free. You can just fair him every time for that. But instead you just full hopped out of shield. I guess it's not super free because you don't have that much advantage. But you could definitely be putting pressure on him with the shield drop fair here. And again, you're uncomfortable punishing, like following up on Marth DIing away. So really practice that. Like, go into Uncle Punch or go into 20XX. Just get a Marth CPU. Okay, good. Good. Shield dropping will make a big difference. Especially in matchups. Because, like, a big thing with Sheik is that before your other characters have knock 10%, you really only have aerials, needles, and grab as your main options. Like, as your main bread and butters, because everything else is unsafe. So if you're able to shield drop, it means you can find a lot more aerials in different places, which makes it a lot easier to get openings, because it makes it easier to build up to that percent where your moves actually do stuff. And that's a really important thing to keep in mind with Sheik. Before Marth is at knock 10%, so before he's at 24, 25, like 25 or 26, use needles, aerials, and grabs. And that should be your main bread and butter. Okay, approaching with full hop. So one big thing about the matchup is that when you approach him, when you land needles on him, you can actually take a lot of space away from him. Like, when you land needles on him, you can actually take away you can dash forward pretty much all the way up to here. Which is really effective. Like, you can dash forward into the shield stop or dash forward into the dash back. But instead you full hop, which actually could have gotten you in a lot of trouble. Like, look at how close he was to hitting you here. Like, you just barely avoided getting hit. Like, you were so close to getting tagged. So I'm gonna put down try to play without for a few without full hopping to take space for a session or two and discover alternative ways to take more. And a lot of these alternative ways are going to be actually play. So actually, I'm going to write work on using your grounded movement to take away space from rather than. Okay, I tried full hop needles there. No specific reason besides practicing and trying to find out scenarios where I could use it. Would that have been a good time if I'd executed properly? Okay, let's look. Okay, yeah, I see the needles. Well, so actually, if you look at the situation, if you look at the situation, you actually had to have. So when you're doing these needles, actually, so this. So you have to think about. So let's look at the spacing. Let's look at the spacing and the timing, because. So if Marth dashes forward and you jump, but the time you're like right here, he'll be like right about here. So if you jump forward all the way forward to right about here and you needle, he won't be in he won't be in range to be hit, assuming he dashes forward. Because the needle you're doing here is basically assuming that he's going to dash forward, and like this needle that you do here is like basically a counter to Marth dashing forward to down tilt. Because if you look at the spacing, this is actually Marth run cancel down tilt range. So this is actually a really big range in the matchup. It's like really important to think about like how you want to interact with Marth through the threat of run cancel down tilt here. And one way you can answer it is by doing a similar full hop needle that you did here, but a full hop needle where you're jumping to right about here, on the platform, and then you're throwing needles, because this needle angle covers Marth dashing forward to put a run cancel down tilt out, because he would be running to right about here to put out a down tilt that threatens this space. Whereas the full hop forward that you did, the full hop forward that put you right about here, doesn't actually threaten anything. No, just a full hop land on the platform. Full hop needle land on the platform. Like full hop waveland run off needles is a little bit too slow. It's a little bit too clunky. Too many parts moving. But the needle angle that you chose, where you're throwing the needles right here, doesn't cover the space that Marth is going to be in right here, and it doesn't cover the space he was in, which is right here. It kind of just goes in between the two spacings. And this should be like a shield drop punish every time. This is like you can shield drop fast fall nair here would be really good. Shield drops, big important thing to be aware of and to work on. Like that's an easy shield drop nair there every time. And again, you shield. You actually land into a really good situation for you. You land into this situation where you actually have advantage, and then you decide to shield. And another thing to think about is what advantage means, like how advantage affects the situation you're in. So like in this situation, you have significant advantage. You have like it looks like 4 to 5 frames of advantage. So that's time where you could be F-tilting Marth, because he's above knockdown % now. That's time where you could be dashing forward at him and reading and dash back. That's time that you could spend like just doing a short hop aerial at him, assuming that he'll down tilt, or like turn around down tilt, or turn around or like shield. But shielding doesn't make any sense in that spot, because you're not actually threatened at all. You're not in disadvantage. You're in advantage. So shielding just gives up your advantage and lets Marth get away. And then your out of shield movement isn't really there here either. And the bear you did here was pretty bad risk reward wise, because at pretty much any percent bear here, weak bear is not going to lead to anything. So because of that, you just got F-smashed for it. Because the weak bear actually puts you in a bad position instead of putting you in an advantage. Okay, so I like the run-up crouch there, but the jabs don't really make any sense. Like, you should be down smashing here pretty much all the time. You should be down smashing or grabbing here. Like, if you grab there, you have a guaranteed punish, and if you down smash, you have a off stage guaranteed. So work on your crouch cancel options. The jabs ended up working out, but they aren't going to be consistent at all. So that's another note. So practice crouch cancel punishes if possible. You should be. Don't jab. Don't crouch cancel jab, whatever you do. Because jab actually can put you in a bad position on hit, even. Okay. Okay, I like what you're doing. I like what you're going for. So down tilt works there because actually you low profile under the grab hitbox of Marth. So you avoid the grab. Oh god. Oh goodness. Okay, so weak backer ends up actually being kind of rewarding because Marth was such a high percent. But again, you're full hopping in a position where you should actually be pressing the advantage. Because if you look at the situation right here, if you dash under Marth and get under like right here, then you're in a really good position. Because like as I was talking about before, if you're under Marth like right here, then you can actually like you can shield his weak fair and nair or grab him, and just punish him hard. But instead, you kind of give that position up. Actually, I guess you didn't have totally enough time. But the full hop doesn't really make any sense. Like, so this is what I just said, but the full hop doesn't really make any sense because, like, Marth isn't in a position to actually reach that space that you're covering with your full hop. Because, like, with this full hop, you cover, like, right about here. And Marth's wave dash forward is going to put him right about here. So even if the wave dash is forward, you're really not going to hit him with your full hop fair. Especially if you fade back like you did. Again, jabbing kind of a panic situation. You could have grabbed here. Especially after the jab, you could have grabbed. Again, you're a little bit clunky out of your shield. But the full hop ends up working out. And you're kind of you mess up your ground movement a little bit too, which end up grading to the ledge. You're flailing a little bit, kind of just throwing out moves. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like, when you're not exactly sure where Marth is going, that's generally a good situation to use your grounded movement, and just react to your grounded movement. Like, either react to your dash dance, or like dash forward with a dash back, or with a dash forward. Or dash forward in the crouch, or dash forward in the shield. Just try and like react. Try and set up a reaction to Marth. Set up a reaction in a way that doesn't like lose you advantage. Again, kind of clunky out of shield movement. Like you shield, then you drop shield, then you down smash. Down, like, F tilt, also not going to be a high reward at all here. And, like, even, like, the F tilt is actually kind of decent because you hit Marth out of the air. But generally, it's safe to assume that the second F tilt isn't going to hit because the Marth is going to jump away. So when you do find yourself in this position, it's generally better to just dash forward at Marth and shield stop. Like dash forward and crouch or dash forward and shield stop so that you put pressure on his landing. And so that if he does fair here, it whiffs. So you dash forward here to get under landing shield. And then see that he jumps, dash forward again, way dash at shield, dash forward again into shield. Right about here where he's going to come down with his fair. Yeah, dash forward. Dashing is really good. Dashing is really, really good. I assume you're trying to shield drop here. So again, work on your shield dropping. And then even then, so when you're in this position, it's generally pretty bad to come down directly on top of a character. Like with Sheik, it's very bad to come down directly on top of a character with our shield drop, because our only real options for coming down with an aerial are nair and down air, and both of them are really bad from below. Like if you look at nair here, you'll see that the below hitbox actually doesn't really cover anything at all. And if you look at dare, you would think that there would be a good bottom hitbox, but Sheik's hurtbox is actually further out than the hitbox. So it makes coming down from a position like this really bad. Like you want to try and come down above and to the side of your opponent rather than directly on top of them. Because if you come down above and to the side of them, then you can back air them or forward air them. Whereas if you come down directly on top of them, you're just trying to like fight them with like weak nair and down air. So something to think about. It ends up working out because the Marth isn't ready for it. Dash attack not going to be hard reward at all here. Like even if dash attack hits, it's not going to lead to anything at all. It's like probably going to lead to literally nothing. Like right there, you can see you dash attack and it hits, but it doesn't lead to anything at all. Yeah, so definitely think about risk reward. So a good thought exercise for melee is for every single move that you do, like every single decision you make, think about it in terms of risk reward. Like think about like what the risk reward of that dash attack was. Like what the risk reward of going for a dash attack in this situation is. Like think about, okay, so if I dash attack here and the risk is pretty low, because if he stays in shield, the dash attack isn't going to do anything. I'm going to get shield grabbed. If he wave dashes forward, dash attack isn't going to do anything because the hitbox is going to go up further when he wave dashes forward. If he wave dashes back, the dash attack hits, but that also isn't going to lead to like anything. Like it's also going to be pretty bad reward wise, because even if the dash attack does hit, that's not going to lead to a follow up, and you can be directly punished for it if the Marth just stays in shield and shield grabs, or wave dashes back and holds down. So really try to think about all of your moves in terms of risk reward. Like think about every single attack you throw in terms of risk reward, and try and really figure it out. It'll help a lot. Again, another instance of you kind of like not using your grounded movement at all, but instead choosing to use your full hop. Because actually, like right here, you should be reacting to Marth going into the air and dashing forward and trying to set up a shield stop or a crouch at like where he's coming down. Like try and set up an opportunity to put pressure on his landing. Because by doing needles even, you're kind of sacrificing it. But even if you had like dash forward immediately after charging needles, like if you dash forward right here, you still get to set up a pressure on his landing. Whereas if you just full hop, you just sacrifice all advantage you had in the situation. Because you did have a significant chunk of advantage because you had the opportunity to dash forward into Marth and put pressure on his landing for free. But instead you full hopped, which then gave up any advantage you had and actually ended up getting you hit. Because again, like if we think about threat ranges and we think about what range Marth is covering with his aerials, he's covering right about there. If he sure hops forward and does a rising aerial, or it even does a late aerial, he's covering this spacing right here. And also like kind of like right there, that's nair. And you ended up trading, but you still got hit. And there's another dash tack. So I like the idea. I like the idea behind dash tacking when you have an advantage. But one thing you could also give a try is boost grabbing here. Like one thing I'm not really seeing from you at all is I'm not seeing any boost grabbing at all. When you get because when you get to this spacing, the main option, like one of the main options you should be thinking about is boost grab, because if Marth, because again, if you boost grab, if you down throw a Marth and he dies away, you can get a re-grab. If he DIs in, if you no DIs or DIs behind, or slide DIs, you can get an up air at this percent, which is going to lead to a fair or another up air, or even a down air. So in some ways, boost grabbing is actually higher, like a more higher reward than dash tack, and boost grab also is going to beat Marth in the situation where he shields on reaction to getting needled at boost grab, like at dash tack range. Okay. Okay, I like the way dash back was perfect. This is a perfect example of when using your movement can get you an opening. Like you saw the range, you saw that Marth is threatening his rising aerial, his dash forward rising aerial. So you dash back and you get a whip punish. You get punished for throwing out moves, for being a little bit too spammy there. Okay. I assume you're trying to dash tack there. So again, this is another situation where you actually had advantage. You had like a few slight frames of advantage, but they're extra significant because it was at this range, because you were at boost grab range. So it makes actually dashing forward at Marth, like with dash tack or boost grab, or even just a dash forward in the shield, really effective. Especially because Marth is more than likely going to throw out a down tilt. Like a lot of Marths are going to throw out a down tilt at this range, specifically because of the threat of boost grab or dash tack. So what you can do is then like dash forward in the shield stop or dash forward in the crouch, so that you can actually counteract their down tilt while also still allowing you to grab them or aerial them if they don't down tilt. But instead you dash back into full hop here, because like if you look at what happens, Marth even recognized that the situation was bad for him, so he wave dashed back to avoid a possible boost grab. So if you had just dash forward in the shield stop there, you could have, or dash forward in the shield stop or dash forward in the crouch there, then you could have actually gotten the corner situation. So if you shield their down tilt, you get an F tilt out of it. You don't get a down tilt. You don't get an F tilt, but if you catch like the, if you catch the down tilt, or really, if you catch a weak down tilt, like really close to them on your shield, then you can grab them. And you can also choose to short hop out of shield after you catch a down tilt, and fair them. And you can also so you can down tilt, you can nair them, like you can short hop fair them if they down tilt your shield, and you're either going to go for another down tilt. You can grab them if you're close enough to their shield. If they down tilt close enough on your shield, like if you catch a weak down tilt, you can grab them, and you can I'm pretty sure you can also nair them if you catch a weak down tilt close, like up close. but you do not get enough tilt out of it unless you power shield it, which would be nuts. But if you look at what your full hopping is doing, it's actually putting you in a bad spot because it's putting you in this position where Marth can just like up tilt you, like he can up tilt you, or he can F smash you, or he can just like drop through and like fair up tilt you or fair up air you. So you're just putting yourself in a bad spot. You're just putting yourself in a spot where Marth can punish you by doing this that full hop and that double jump. And again, if you had moved out of this here, if you had dashed back out of this here, then you could have avoided this grab. Also, if you look at the situation, actually it wasn't that bad for you. Like, it wasn't really that bad, like bad enough to warrant a shield. Because Marth wasn't in range of grabbing you. Like, he wasn't in the range where he could actually jump cancel grab you effectively. So by doing the shield, you're just giving him more time to get the grab in. And like if you do, another option that's worth considering in this situation, in situations like this, where you see Marth dashing forward at you while you're shielding, is just spot dodging. Because although it's very important that you don't abuse it, like you don't overly rely on it, but spot dodging in this kind of situation is really effective against Marth, because his only real lingering hitbox is Nair. So in order to actually beat the spot dodge, he has to time an air perfectly, or he has to dash forward and like dash dance and wait out the spot dodge, and wait for you to like wait for it and then dash dance, like dash dance to wait for it. But if you don't spot dodge, then you can just like dash forward, like you can just boost grab him for free if he decides to dash dance on your landing. So spot dodge is pretty good against Marth in this kind of situation, because if he tries to go for the grab right here, and you spot dodge, you get a grab out of it. If he decides to dash dance to try and wait for the spot dodge, you can just wait dash forward into grab, or wait dash forward into like, or short hop forward fair, or anything like that. You can also just yeah. Anyway, spot dodge good. Spot dodge good, important mix up in exactly this kind of situation where you're landing in range of Marth, like in Marth's grab range. You should have grabbed there. Good. Yes, yeah, exactly. Dash back is really good. And this should have been a grab. This should have been a jump cancel grab. F tilt there actually doesn't lead to anything because it doesn't knock down, and Marth can just smash GI away the F tilt and put it which would put him in a position where he actually can't get punished for it, like he can't get hit again. So I've noticed, I think this came up once before, but I've noticed that you kind of tend to, when you do this wave dash back, you tend to just automatically go for the boost grab for the dash attack, even when it's not a good situation for it. Because if you look at the situation, you'll actually see that you're not like boost grab spacing. Boost grab spacing is like right here. And Marth is actually like kind of in this. And that little circle. Boost grab spacing is right there. Also like deep dash attack spacing. And Marth is actually Marth is outside that range, so boost grab here isn't going to accomplish anything. It's only going to get you hit. So instead what you want to do in a situation like this is you want to dash forward, or way dash forward, so that you close the gap, and so they actually do end up at your boost grab spacing. Or you can just choose to dash dance instead, like dash back or dash forward, and just stay in place. But you shouldn't, if you're trying to be aggressive here, we should be aggressive with the mindset of trying to put Marth in a position where you can boost grab him or dash attack him, and then going from there, instead of just like trying to force your option on Marth. Like with Sheik, it's really important that you don't like try and force things, because Sheik's like approaches are like dash forward, like boost grab, and like short hop forward with the fair. And both those are like I guess also like dash attack and like run cancel down tilt down smash. But those are like, and also run cancel left tilt. But those are all very committal options, and they're also all easily whiff punished. So it means that Sheik's openings are in large part going to come from like baiting things out of our opponents. They're not going to come from like Sheik just forcing forcing an advantage on her opponent. Like the only times where you can really just go out there and just hawk and boost grab at someone is when you have enough advantage that you're almost guaranteed to get the grab. And that's why whiff punishing is so good, because like when you whiff punish, you're creating a situation where the grab is almost guaranteed, and you're not gonna get punished for losing it. Like there's no world in which you get punished for losing it, because it's so guaranteed. But here's you kind of just throwing out moves. So I guess that's another note. Try to resist the flail. Use your movement. I'm gonna do throw a move to hit. So when you instead of flailing, like try and think about using your movement instead of a move. And when you do throw a move, try and throw it with intention. So try and throw it out not because you think it might hit, but because you think it will hit. Like say, like I think this move is going to hit because Marth is at X position. I'm at Y. Because Marth and I are at this spacing with this for an advantage. So therefore, I think like this boost grab will hit. Whereas you, instead of like going for like just throwing on F tilt because Marth's near me, Marth is close to me. This might hit him if he tries to dash in. Like you want to try and have like always intention behind your moves. Then you see Marth landing. Okay, good punish. You see Marth landing and you punish him for it. Again, throwing out moves a little bit. Are you going to win? Are you going to triumph? Let's go. Alright. So takeaways. Takeaways. Work on your platform movement. Try to move around with wavelengths into full hops. Work on your shield drops. And work on your grounded movement. Incorporate dash to wave dash. Foxtrot, which is when you get the stick. And you flick it just like this. Like not like this. Like that. Like that. Instead of like that. So that does what's called foxtrotting. And it's basically like a longer version of your dash dance. Which helps Sheik a lot because her Sheik's dash is actually really short. It turns into her run at like frame 8 or 9, I think. Like somewhere in the 7 to 9 range. So her foxtrot is sometimes necessary in order to lengthen the dash dance and make it more like a real character dash dance. Or like a real dash dance that like Marth would have, that Marth has or Falcon has. Incorporate dash, wave dash, foxtrot, run to crouch, and dash / run into to shield stop into your movement. I think those are the big 3 things I would definitely say, like, point to for like things to improve. Like, work on your platform movement, try and speed it up as fast as possible. Like, a good kind of exercise is to, like, queue up a match of Plup playing, and then just try and, like, replicate the platform movement that Plup does. It'll help a lot with getting your speed up and getting your accuracy up. And then grounded movement is also really important, because it's really important that you're able to play neutral with your movement as opposed to your moves, because that way you can bait out things from your opponent and you can actually commit yourself less and open yourself up less to peril, to danger and peril. And also try and be fluid in and out of shield. There were several times where it seemed where you kind of got stuck in shield, and it seemed like you didn't know what to do. And it seemed like it was almost like I could see you thinking through the situation in your mind, like as you were in shield. But try and use your wave dashes out of shield. Try and grind those out. Try and get them really fast. And then also work on, like, when platform out of shield, like way dashing back, way dashing forward, way dashing in place, short hopping out of shield, which will also help you when using your shield stops in neutral. And then practice punch game on Marth. DIOA means a regrab. I'll also link Marth's Drug Fox's Marth Punish Guide. Think about risk reward. Limit or cut out entirely tilts, down smash, and dash attack before Marth is at knockdown %. Because they're not going to lead to anything, and they can all get crouched really easily. And even if you even if you dash attack someone when they're, like, on hit, you can still get punished, even if they don't crouch cancel it, because they land right next to you. So, like, if you dash attack Samus when she's at, like, low %, then she can just, like, come down right next to you and just nair you for free. And really think about the matchup in terms of, like, options you have when Marth is below knockdown %, which is, like, grab, needle, and aerials, and then everything else. Like, everything else, like, comes after Marth once Marth is past knockdown %. And then work on using your grounded movement to take away space from Marth instead of just using your full hop. You kind of were overly reliant on your full hop for a lot of that match, and it seemed like you didn't really. It was like your main tool for solving neutral, which is when full hop is fine. Full hop is a fine tool for solving neutral, but it's also limited. Like, it's not a one size fits all solution. So movement is, like, more of a one size fits all solution, and that, like, especially for Sheik, because as I mentioned before, movement can, like, help you avoid your opponent's hitboxes while also baiting stuff out for them, which creates whiff punish opportunities. Practice CC punishes. If possible, you should be grabbing or F tilting. Don't jab. Down tilt also is fine, but grabbing and F tilting are the main ones. And then lastly, try to resist the urge to flail. Use your movement instead of your moves, and when you do throw a move, do it with intention. So I'll post all of that right now. And that's going to do it for me. Yeah, especially, like, it's really important, like... Yeah. Like, if you watch Mango Sheik play, like, if you watch him play against Falco, he's, like, really aggressive with his dash forward shield stops. Like, that's his main way of taking space away from Falco. Because if Falco does a rising aerial, you shield it and you get a grabber in there. And if he does a delayed aerial, you can just, like, take the hit and go into a shield pressure situation, which is better than just dashing forward straight into an aerial. And if he gives up space, yeah, Mango Sheik versus Falco. Hold on, I'm going to cut the video. I'm going to cut my recording there.